Guys, today's day 8 of trying to tie up some loose ends. And so it was another day at Miracosta. And so what I did was I ended up, so here's what I did. So I woke up this morning, same routine I've been doing for the last 2 months or so. I wake up and then, yeah, I transitioned, over to the smoothies for the most part. So I had my superfoods and the fruit smoothies, really just trying to get on this kind of healthy eating, at least emphasis on fruits and nuts, and really just doing research on food in general so I can see how it can benefit my body and, my mind. Uh, I ended up taking a walk as usual over to Vista High School, and it looked like the students were coming back, which was great to see. Um, I ended up listening to some videos today. They were about, what were they about? I think one was about, oh yeah, they were about traveling. Yeah, so I was trying to do research on traveling to Portland, specifically looking for like hostels or just cheap places to stay. I mean, that's the main thing, is I'm looking for cheapness. But yeah, so I did some video research on that. I also did research on, let's see, was it? I think it's more like thinking. I've been trying to just clear my mind and focus on the present moment as much as possible. Uh, for me, I think that's crucial, and that's the only thing that really matters, is just the present moment. And so I was doing research on that, and then I came back home, did some yoga with Tim. That guy does very like strength based yoga, um, and so I was doing yoga with Tim. I did my 18-minute meditation, which I noticed this session was a little bit more of a test, but I think that's important, especially to know that. Like I've been doing meditation. I've done meditation where I literally am lost in thought for so long that when I get back out of it, I'm like, wait, the meditation's over? I've had sessions, so many sessions like that, where, I've tried to do meditation, and then I just, I realized, like, what happened? And so I ended up, did meditation, and I did, of course, my song today was, I can't remember the song that I listened to this morning, but yeah, I listened to a song, and I think I listened to Gary Vaynerchuk, just to this idea of being like financially independent, which I'm working towards actually. That's my goal, is to find myself a job, specifically now with social media marketing, and so I went, my focus, I think, before was trying to find an internship and trying to find a job with social media marketing. Now it's like I decided to do Instagram marketing or Facebook too, with finding local businesses in the area that would be interested in social media marketing. And so I've developed a page, and it's over, I think it's close to 260 followers now, and the engagement is just going up. Whenever, if I do some good food shots, then the engagement's huge. Like I did some for Yaya's when I went over there, which is a fruit tortilla Mexican fruit place on North Santa Fe, and I took some pictures there. And the most recent time I went, those pictures was like over 25 likes or over 20, which for me is really good. And I was able to reach quite a lot of unique accounts, and some of those accounts were based off of hashtags, which is great. So I did social media marketing for that, or I'm trying to look for clients. And so today, that's what I did, was I actually reached out to Yaya's, and it's been a week, and I just want to know like how things are going, and if I have the potential for being a manager of their page. So besides that, I actually left around 11 o'clock, and I did I forgot my wallet, and that happens sometimes. But I just walked. I got more walking in, and I went over to the bus stop, and I took the bus down to Vista Transit. I was actually listening to some videos about they were my bookmarks, so they're all over the place. I was focusing on so many different things. I mean, I was focusing on what's happening now. I was focusing on hacks. I was focusing on different products I could buy to make my life easier. The list goes on and on. I think it was just like I was focusing on so many different things in my life that I wasn't really focused on one thing, and my mind was just all over the place. And so now I'm just so much more focused, and my mind is just clearer. I feel more calm, and I was just relaxed. So so I ended up walking, and I got over to Maricosta, and it was pretty quiet on campus today. I did see some people. But I was just focused on what I needed to do before the Zoom meeting. I had a Zoom meeting, and it was very interesting. I think I might have used Zoom one other time, but it was a call, I think. And so I did the Zoom meeting, and for me, it was just like the Zoom meeting. Yeah, it wasn't through a call. It was through like a webcam, and so my webcam was working, and the audio was working, but my microphone wasn't. So I couldn't speak with the people on the other end of the line. So it was a little bit tricky, to be honest. And also the internet connection. I think that I got a laptop that has 1.5 gigahertz or 1.6, and so if I have something like a live stream, that is going to take a lot of the processor, um, the just the processor thing, so whereas if I were to have something with a higher gigahertz, then it might have handled it, but it was a little bit tricky because um, I couldn't really multitask too much because I had the live stream running, and I also had the trying to find the documents. So that was definitely an interesting first experience with Zoom. Um, I'm definitely excited to finally take a marketing class because, to be honest, up to this point, I haven't really taken a solid marketing class in college, and that's actually my degree major because I've taken business law, I've taken business writing, I've taken business statistics, and I've taken business development, which is kind of like personal branding, but not really marketing. So I'm finally glad to take a marketing class because I can really apply this to what I'm doing right now with my social media marketing. And so I do have that class. And I don't know, the topic today wasn't really related to marketing, but it was funny. One of the sources, like I was taking a look at the key terms, no textbook, which is pretty cool, but one of the sources was Wikipedia. And that is a little bit concerning to me. One of the first, I remember I kid you not, the first semester I was at, um, first semester I was at Cal State San Marcos. They told us Wikipedia is not a source. Don't use Wikipedia as a source. And the reason for that is because it's an open source project that really anybody can edit. So, for example, for example, somebody could go in there as an editor and they could change something up. And there are articles on Wikipedia where there's no source link, or there's an issue with the data. So for me, casual browsing of Wikipedia, I'm not too worried, but for an academic setting, it's kind of concerning. I think I remember using like Wikipedia when I was like in elementary school as a source. So it's a little bit concerning that that's one of the first things. It was actually on CSR, which is community or no corporate social responsibility, which I remember from Vista High School, and how what CSR is basically is how companies want to make themselves look good to the public, so that way it's a way to develop trust as a corporation, so that way people look at your brand and they're like, oh, I can trust you, I can buy. And it has its ups, but it's also it's all about execution. Like, are they actually doing what they say they're doing, or are they just using it for marketing? Because a lot of times it's for marketing purposes. So it's like I'm doing something great, but Yeah, so it's definitely an interesting topic for CSR, and I think I'll be watching a video by Simon Sinek, which I watched some of his marketing videos earlier this year. I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but yeah, he's another, I guess, in the business world, people really, I guess, listen to him. But other than that, yeah, I ended up, I was working at Miracosta from about maybe after 12 to about 5 o'clock, and then I left there. I needed to take some content. I needed to get some content for my Instagram page. I just did something simple, some signs and Luz Duran. Posted that to IG, and it was great. Yeah, the page is going great. I've been getting more followers, engagement. The two posts I did, one of them went pretty well. The other wasn't so much because it's a simple post. I did that to Instagram. I ended up what else did I do today? Yeah, I ended up walking back, and I definitely had a lot of great experiences with mindfulness today. I told myself this morning that, excuse me, that would be something beneficial. It definitely, there are challenges with mindfulness where your mind is so accustomed to just being distracted all the time, and I mean I trained myself to be that way, like constantly when I'm out and when I'm walking. I'm either, what I was doing was I was either listening to music, mainly music. I'd say for most of this year is I was just listening to my playlists. I listened to smooth jazz. I listened to all this music, and it was kind of like a way to distract myself, um, because I don't know, I was a little bit uncomfortable just with being mindful of my thoughts, to be honest, because for me it was just like if I'm still, then the thoughts would come, and I'd be like, I can't I can't face my thoughts, and that's why I wasn't really doing a lot of these things that would put me, I guess, with my thoughts. For example, like taking a walk in the morning. No, I wasn't really, I wasn't walking. I mean, I would sometimes walk with my, my grandmother, but I wasn't walking. I wasn't by myself, like what I'm doing now. And what I'm doing now is an hour and a half. And the first part of my walking trip, I don't do any I don't do any sort of I don't listen to any videos, I don't listen to music. I'm just in the present moment. And that is a little bit tricky to guys. And even with when I travel before, um I just I would always be constantly stimulated by something, whether it be my surroundings or I'd be kind of lost in thought, or I'd always have an active mind, and I wouldn't quiet my mind down to just let it slow down so that way I could kind of let things go. I'd always be constantly ruminating, or my mind was just like always like firing, firing, firing. And that's why when I was looking at my bookmarks today, there were so many different topics. I mean, I'm looking at my topics because, I'd sit down, I'd be thinking, like, oh, what's something I can work on? And it just be always on and on and on. And not really so good for my health because it was pretty stressful. And so I'm just glad that now I'm trying to incorporate this with school. I'm not going to be, I don't want to be kind of sucked into, the school stress and then not taking care of myself and end up basically worn out. I've been trying to be a lot more just conscious and aware of the present moment rather than be so caught up in the future or the past, or just, yeah, the future or the past, basically things